Nick, do you want to talk about barbecue pinball?
Oh, it's that time already?
I mean, it's big news. It's the second machine that we saw revealed this month. So,
oh God,
do you want to kick it off?
I had to apologize to Keith because I forgot that we were like I had to send Keith a link. We've got him coming on the show at 11 this morning, and I messaged Kevin. I was like, dude, ever since this game dropped on Friday, like that's all I've been thinking about. So, and I don't know what to even. I do know what to think, but I don't even know how to organize my thoughts on it, and I don't even know where to begin. So,
all right. Well, let me kick it off with like the pricing and everything. So,
thank you, Kevin. All right,
we'll get some structure.
What is the game? What is the game called?
So, American Pinball has revealed Barry O's Barbecue Challenge, hot sauce and hot rods. The theme everybody's been clamoring for. It's a let's see. The pricing is $7,000 for standard, or $8,500 for the LE, which is limited to 100, which may be ambitious. We'll get into more of that later. So let's show over here. I don't know where to start. So okay, let's jump over here.
We've never had this problem on this podcast of where to begin with this. Well, why don't you show the game?
Okay.
Why don't we just talk about the objective things, right? The facts about the game as presented thus far. Show the game. Who is Barry O? What is the game? What does it look like? And then we can work through this together.
Okay, so who's Barry O, Nick? For folks at home who may not know, who's Barry O?
So Barry O is a pinball designer. I mean, he's not like a Steve Ritchie level pinball designer. He's not a Keith Elwin. But he is a pinball designer who's made some definitely some good games. The ones that come to mind are Bram Stoker's Dracula. I've got a Jungle Lord from him. I believe he made that. Those are the ones off the top. Honestly, those are the ones off the top of my head when I think of Barry Oursler, and that's kind of it. So
one of his most notable ones was Space Shuttle, right? That was the one like in the 80s where folks were like, "Oh, I brought pinball back when in the middle of the video game revolution and all that." So he's had some notable Pinbot. He contributed to Pinbot too, right? Pinbot.
Yeah, All Anonymous says Bride of Pinbot. So, we got to dive back like 30, 40 years to get to Barry Oursler, but okay.
Right.
No, he made some classic, well-known games, and if you're into pinball the way, and you're listening to a pinball podcast, I'm sure you've played those games and you're familiar with those games, and they're solid games for sure.
Yeah, his most recently released game, I guess, was technically Queen by Pinball Brothers. So that was like his final game, but
okay.
I think that technically was his last full design. Anyway, so that's who Barry O is.
And I want to just be so Barry O passed away in 2022. I want to, when we talk about this game, I mean, they slapped Barry O's name on it, not just his likeness, but his name on it. I'll be very clear that we're distinguishing between Barry and any comments or criticisms about this game. All right, like this is how American Pinball decided to roll with it. Just keep that in mind. I have no positive, negative, strong feelings on Barry O. I played many of his games and like it, but this is a theme that they're rolling with. So let me just put that out there before we proceed with this conversation.
That's right. Nothing personal against Barry O. All right, so that's Barry O. So talk us through what we're seeing here as far as like the theme of the game and what the layout of the pinball machine and all that.
So we got a comment that this thing just dropped on Friday, and we got some like lack of pictures of the game, like kind of the typical shot of a pinball machine that you'd see on a flyer, and the layout. That's kind of it. We haven't seen. American Pinball has not given us a trailer to really look at. This is a very bizarre launch, to say the least. So on the back glass is Barry. He's in a hot rod. He's got, I guess, some hot sauce in his hand, and I think I can't even tell from the picture. He's like dragging his like smoker or something. I don't know. I mean, I like barbecue, but I don't live and die by barbecue. The cabinet has some pretty terrible artwork on it, I would say. Like the front where the coin door is like wood. Like wood, just like I understand that you need wood for the smoker, but I okay.
Yeah, it looks like they
the
went to iStock Photo and searched for a pile of chopped wood,
yeah.
found a high resolution image, and just dropped it on the front of this cabinet.
Well,
'Cause that's what it
well
looks
said,
like.
Kevin. Well said. It's not even like an artist drew that and made it look nice or interesting. Like it looks very fucking lazy.
Yeah.
To say the least, and it doesn't aesthetically look good. Like you think that looks good in your lineup. Not that most people are looking at the art in the coin door, but it does matter, right? A lot of people, the art is very important to them. The backglass art is fine. I think it's kind of got that Williams-esque fun era attitude to it. It's fine. It's
Yeah, I
got
do like that.
a pig is driving the car, so if you're into animals driving vehicles and stuff like that, then you're gonna love it.
Yeah, but the issue with it's like not a cohesive art package, right? Like this is cool. It'd be
Correct.
nice if the rest of the cabinet looked like this, right?
Right, like it's not cohesive. So the front shouldn't be like this real like image of logs. It should flow with that, right? And the side of the cabinet doesn't flow with that. So they did a good job with the translite, and the rest it just looks lazy.
And the speaker panel that is like a top down view of charcoal over with
like
a grate
that?
in front of it.
Yeah,
Anyways,
I saw some video of like the LCD. I haven't seen much, but it shows like turkey legs being roasted.
oh my
Like, I mean, I guess that's what you got to do, but it's not like like cartoony kind of maybe fun what you would expect from Williams. It's just like full motion video of like
there you
food
go.
being cooked. There it is.
Turkey legs.
Yeah. Wow. Like this is such a low effort.
So bad, dude.
It is so bad. Thank you, Kevin. It's just like
I can't help it.
if they at least mimic the art on the translite and made this kind of like colorful and fun, like okay, like we can try to be positive there, but a full motion video of like cooking turkey legs. Somebody thought this was a good idea.
I can't. And
Somebody signed up on it. I can imagine the ideas that got rejected.
I was looking through the thread on Pinside, and somebody found the actual like stock footage. So they didn't even shoot their own footage of barbecuing. They went to
God.
They literally did go to like iStock Photo or one of those stock image sites and got clips of stuff being barbecued and just dropped it in there. So there you go.
And honestly, there's not much more we can say about this game. We can like when it was revealed, people were saying that, hey, this looks an awful lot like another game from American Pinballs, which is Hot Wheels, like in terms of the layout. It's a fan layout. So it's not exactly that, but it's certainly got some of that to it. I don't know. It's got like a few ramps, Kevin, fan layout, like no toys whatsoever that I'm aware of on this game. Are you?
No, it's two big swooping ramps, which are kind of a Barry Oursler, hallmark. You think about the big sweeping ramp on Doctor Who or Bram Stoker's Dracula, like he likes those, so that makes sense to him. I do also like the locks on the sides, which is reminiscent of Space Shuttle. So there are a lot of nods to some of Barry's signature playfield designs, which I like. This video we're showing you is from P-Dub's Arcade Loft if you're watching. So shout out to them. They got some footage of that game from one of the shows I was at this weekend. And
I watched his video, which thank you. It's nice that he got this and filmed it. Some of the quotes that he had, it's like an EM, and it's slow.
If you, he said so many times that
don't sell a game for $7,000.
Old and slow so many times.
Old and slow.
Yeah.
Old and slow.
If you skip to about 7 minutes and 20 seconds in the video, because he keeps talking about how fun it is and he was surprised by it, blah blah blah. You might be surprised. But the bottom line is
definitely surprised, Kevin.
He gets to 7 minutes in and he's like, this is super fun. Would I buy it? No. And I think that's the recurring theme we're seeing over and over. And I wanted to do a little research. So I'm like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe, we always see those threads about people clamoring for original themes. Maybe this is it. It's got like, I'm seeing throwbacks to stuff like Diner, you can see, maybe this is the theme people have been clamoring for, the original theme. So on Pinside, one of the common thread types when a new machine comes out is the are you in or are you out on buying this game? So it's like, I'm gonna start one for this theme and we'll see. Let's get some actual numbers. For context, here's the Foo Fighters, which was a pretty popular game, right? I think kind of inherently most of the time people are gonna say no, because there's always gonna be more people who aren't buying a game than are buying a game. but you can see percentage-wise where things kind of lay out. So Foo Fighters, a popular Stern title, 60% of people were no thanks. 32% said yes, I'm in. And
how many people are 32%? 179 votes?
179 votes. 337 votes for no thanks. And 9% said maybe. That was 50 votes. So you've got over 200 people who are either yes or maybe. For a more like a more like, what am I trying to say? A boutique pinball manufacturer. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. From Pinball Brothers, but a good theme. Alien. There was on the main thread here. Are you in or are you out? 62 people said they were buying the limited version. 59 people said they were buying the.
Oh wait, wait. This is what? Oh,
this is
I'm sorry.
Alien.
Oh, okay. That explains it.
It's Alien. 33% said this is split three ways pretty much. So 33% said limited, 32% said standard, and 35% said not interested. So that's pretty even. And then Godfather, which was a more divisive game, 7% said they were in on an LE. 20% or 60 votes were in on a CE, and 73%, which is pretty high, 223 votes said they're out. Okay, now that we have that context, let's take a look at Barry O. Are you in? So this is we're around 250 votes total for this poll. 7%, 18 people said they're in. 198 people, 82% said they are out, and 26 votes, 11% said they are maybe. So again, this is a snapshot in time, right? Like, so Nick and I always talk about why you need licensed themes. You need licensed themes because you get people to get their wallets out and buy the game. With an original theme, you're not going to have that instant, give me this game immediately. It's my favorite movie. It's my favorite band. It's my favorite TV show. I got to have it right now. All the comments I'm seeing are saying either I'm out or looks fun, I need to play it first. And even if the people who are saying I need to play it first, they're probably not going to buy it. They're just going to play it at their arcade. If their arcade decides to buy it, then they're going to go home without buying it. Am I wrong, Nick?
100%. You posted this quote in our chat, and I think this sums it up, and I really like this quote. This quote comes from Ron Cameron. It's a post on Pinball Enthusiast. He writes, "All right, I rarely complain about games, and never before I play them, but who is American Pinball's barbecue pin designed for? And he writes, I like American Pinball. I love barbecue. I love Barry Oursler designs. I really hate paying more than $7,000 for a new pin. I check all the boxes, and yet this announcement does nothing for me. I hope it sounds like hotcakes and it's an excellent pin, but this one I'll really need to play before I get excited about it. And I hope that American Pinball knows what they're doing. Part of me is very, very afraid of the theme choice." So here is somebody, right? They found this is the Venn
diagram, yeah.
Yes, they found the Venn diagram. They found somebody who likes American Pinball, which there's not a huge amount of people that like them. There's people that like American Pinball, and they've made games that people like, but it's not like a Stern or Jack. So you got somebody who likes it. You got somebody who likes Oursler. Most people like barbecue, but this guy loves it. The price point, and yet it's still a swing and a miss for like your target customer.
Yeah, this is like, even people, there's some people on Pinside who don't know who Barry O, or like on Pinball Enthusiasts. They're like, who is Barry O? Like, is he some barbecue guy? Like, what's going on?
My business owner, one of my business partners messages me on Friday. He's like, I found our next new game for our route, and he shows me this game, and he was joking, right? He's making fun of it. Like, it's a joke, right? Like, it's just, why on earth? It doesn't appeal to casuals. You're going to think, like, as you said, Kevin, like, who's Barry O? Like, is that a Food Network star? That's another thing my business partner mentions. Is it a Food Network star? Like, who the hell is Barry O? It's beyond bizarre. And you're going to put out a game with no toys. Now, we've talked before where I think that there is a market for, like, early solid state games, right? Like a Fathom-esque game, like we saw Beatles do well. This one has ramps, so it's more or less like an 80s, 90s game, right? But without the toys that people look for, which certainly helps bring down the cost, but I don't know, man. We really ragged on GTF, and we're just like, what the fuck is this? And then somehow they looked at that. They didn't sell many GTFs at all. I mean, that game had to be a commercial failure. And then they come out with this, an even worse theme. And it's like, at this point when we talk about it, it's like, if you're kind of like making fun of something, and then somebody comes you along and says, hey, that person actually has some cognitive issues, and you're like, oh, I feel really bad making fun of them. This is to the point where I almost feel bad ragging on it, because it's just so head scratching and bizarre. And again, man, like, how do you have this game's going to be a failure, 100%. GTF was a big failure. This is their next game. This is going to be a failure. How many failures can American Pinball have in a row like this? Like, what deep war chest of money do they keep on making games like this? Is there anybody at the company that says, hey, time out, why are we making this? Who is this for? What is the market for? Will people want this? Is there any indication that this is going to sell well? Why are we doing this? Sure, and Kevin, you made a good point. Maybe if somebody made a custom tribute game to Barry Oursler, this would have been it. That's like a one and done. It's a custom thing, like custom game. You know how people bring games to the show and they remake a game. Like, fine. This is not a commercial game that if you're a serious pinball company, you put out and you expect to sell. I saw in the chat says maybe they'll sell to restaurants, right? Like I saw a post the American Pinball did where they're going to try to sell GTFs to ice cream shops. You fucking serious? Like, that's your business plan? Like, you're trying to sell GTF to ice cream shops? First of all, I understand that there's ice cream in the store and you got to get it, but you just look at the game, there's no connection to ice cream off the bat. And then ice cream shops, are they the hotbed of pinball? First of all, like in the Northeast, they're all like closed in the wintertime. They're a seasonal thing. It's just the decision making is almost a parody and laughable. When this game was launched, people said to themselves, is this April 1st? I had to check. Are they trolling us? No, they're not. This is a serious effort in a game to follow up a game that was a failure. Where did they go from here? You mentioned, Kevin, on the last podcast that, maybe they're going to do Cuphead and maybe they're going to do Power Rangers. Are they? Are they going to be able to hemorrhage money like this and not pay employees? Are people going to lose jobs over this? Like, you're running a pinball company. There's jobs at stake. And this is what you come out with? You're competing against Jaws right now. You're competing against Foo Fighters, Pulp Fiction, Labyrinth. I know I'm missing some, Kev. Princess Bride.
Aliens still being sold.
Aliens. Yeah. Not to mention the secondary market, the used market, pinball machines, is absolutely crashing right now. So you can get games at good deals where 2 years ago you really couldn't. There's great deals to be had right now. You're competing against all of that, and this is what you produce. I just don't know what goes on in that company. I mean, it's hilarious. It's sad. It's confusing. I don't know how this company can exist anymore. It is very weird, very bizarre, very, very bizarre. Even if this game was fun and good, okay? Even if it's fun and good, the theme is going to kill it alone, right? Like, Dialed In was a good game. It was a fun game, and it didn't do well because of the theme was off-putting to people, period. And Jersey Jack, they tried something in, 2016, 2017, okay? I think it was 2016, because the market at the time hadn't had an original theme for a long time, all right? Like, I understand why they didn't, but why they made it. It didn't work. People said, okay, and they moved on. They learned from it. And yet, here's American Pinball doubling down. We thought that the theme was going to be food truck, so it's adjacent to that, right? This is worse than food truck somehow because it's really puzzling with Barry O's barbecue challenge. The fuck is that? Who is Barry O? Like, to anybody else who's not a super nerd like us, this is very, very puzzling, very weird. Kev, do you think I don't know if this is planned or incompetence. Is it the reason that we haven't seen a reveal trailer or good footage of this game just because they're trying to just get this out and forget about it and move on at this point?
That's a good question. The whole reveal aspect of this has been a little head scratchy. It's crazy too to think how different it has been from Galactic Tank Force, if you remember the build up to GTF, it was teaser after teaser after teaser, and we're gonna have all these assets, and we got all these actors that you've never heard of. Remember all that? Everybody remembers that. And it got to the point where like, just show us the game already. And they took the total opposite approach with this, where they just kind of dumped it on the internet. Pictures showed up on Pinside, the web page came up, and then they're like, oh yeah, these are going to be on location tomorrow, and they're going to be at conventions and stuff, which I like. I think that's a cool strategy. And they did that with Legends of Valhalla too, where they announced it and then it was playable on location at, a dozen or so arcades around the country. I think that's awesome. Give people the chance to get their hands on the game and play it, especially with original themes like that. That's a smart idea. What's not a smart idea is not having the rest of your media ready to go when this launches, right? You want to have a trailer. You want to have a stream schedule, or at least like a YouTube video showing gameplay. Because not everybody lives within driving distance of these dozen or so arcades or the few shows that it's at this weekend. So you need to have all that other stuff ready to go too. Otherwise, you're going to end up with potato cam footage like you're seeing all over Facebook and YouTube of people just setting up their phone and shooting a little video, and you can kind of hear the sound, and you can see the light show and you see the ball moving around, but that's it. You don't really get a feel for what the rules are like or what the audio experience is. David Thiel is the audio person on this. Show that off. That's right.
I've not heard any music or anything
yet.
The
best part of this game is probably the audio, and nobody's hearing it.
Yeah, David Thiel is the John Williams of pinball, right? Like he's amazing. They're lucky. That's the best thing it's got going for me. You're absolutely right, Kevin. Yeah, my advice to American Pinball is what is the Costanza advice? Like, whatever your first thought is, do the fucking opposite of it. Okay? Like, and you might have a chance of being successful.
Two more points I want to make, and you can feel free to jump in or add anything else too. But one thing I want to point out that has been a little head scratchy to me, but there's I'm scratching my head a lot at this if you haven't picked that up. So
you got a rash.
Yeah,
it's so much scratching.
Go do yourself a favor and just read the webpage, because the marketing copy on this is hilarious. But this paragraph here, they've been getting a lot of kudos for this, which I think aren't necessarily justified. So they position it like, commemorating Barry's legacy, the royalties from Barry O's BBQ Challenge will be directed to his estate, supporting his family and continuing his impactful contribution to the world of pinball. And I see people taking that and reiterating it in a way that it's not written. And we'll talk more about how people misinterpret things later when we talk about the JJP board set and what I said on the last show. So what they're saying is they're paying royalties to Barry's family because he's not here to get the royalties he would normally get, basically, for selling these games. It's based on his design, and they're literally using his name, image, and likeness as part of this, as a selling point for this machine. So yes, they should be paying his estate, just much like the Beatles. John Lennon's estate probably made money from the sale of the Beatles machine. That's how this works. It's not a charity piece. This is a thing that happens when you license things or use someone's name, image, and likeness in a product like this. And they're not saying all proceeds are going to this. They're saying the royalty. So there's a X amount was set aside for royalties for Barry's family. They're still going to be making money on this. It's not a charity product. Okay, do you agree with my interpretation of that, Nick?
Yeah, it was. It's again, they didn't achieve what they thought they were achieving, right? So, like a lot of things with American Pinball is if you take what they're saying and you don't really think about it, then you roll around and you're like, that's fine. And then you put just half an ounce of thought into it, like your analysis, Kevin. Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're 100% right. Yes, but if you're going to use somebody's like image likeness or whatever, like, yes, you would expect to pay them royalties. Yes, of course you would expect to pay Barry, or in this case, his family. So why are you putting that in there?
It also comes across as a little slimy that they're kind of trying to position it like it's a charity thing too. That's how it reads to me. It's like they're trying
100%.
to. Yeah.
Well, they're going to need to do everything in their power with this game. It's just too bad. Honestly, I'm I'm sure there's talented people over at American Pinball, and it's just too bad that time is being spent on this. This is really it's really too bad. That's it, right? Like,
The other thing that the other point I want to make was like, I remember, and you listened to some of the podcasts in the lead up to this too, when the whole like, are they going out of business, American Pinball thing, and I swear Dave was saying that this was Barry Oursler's final design. Do you remember that? Like, this is his last design we're bringing into market.
Yeah, it sounds right. I don't know for sure, but yeah.
And there's some of that going around too, where this is his final design. But then if you look at the webpage, it actually says like, it's contributions from Steve Bowden, Dennis Nordman, Ryan McWade. In design assistance, played a vital role in defining the game's playfield. So there are a lot of hands in the playfield design on here. This is not Barry's final design. Maybe he had some sketches, but then you had, like you said, all these other talented people at AP like Steve Bowden, Dennis Norman, Ryan McWade, helping in pitching in and getting it over the finish line. So, lots of hands in the pot making this product come to market, and want everybody to get credit like they deserve. So, that's all I got. Anything else on this?
No, but I do have